Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's our next question. This is still section 6.3. This section, according to a lot of my past 1033 students, really takes a lot of perseverance. But again, practice is going to make perfect on this, okay? I'm subtracting, which means I need a common denominator. These two denominators have to match. Well, they don't. So that means I cannot do the problem the way it is. This is currently one factor, x minus g. This, however, can be rewritten by pulling out a 3, factoring out a 3, okay? Well, now notice how factoring that makes this problem a lot easier to see what we need to do next. If the denominators need to be the same, this denominator has more in it than this one does. But I can make this denominator match this one by multiplying it by 3. So, what I do to the bottom, I'm going to say times 3 here, okay? I do to the top. It's a multiplication. So what I do downstairs, I do upstairs. Now, at this point, the denominators match. So, I have 3, and then I have x minus g in parens in the denominator. Now I work with the numerators. Okay, let's do that very carefully. 3 times negative 5x is a negative 15x. So we've taken care of the first numerator. Okay? Now, remember what we talked about. When you see a minus sign, that's like multiplying by negative 1. Everything in this numerator gets its sign changed. So the 3x becomes a minus 3x. The minus g becomes a plus g. Okay? When I collect like terms on in the numerator, the negative 15x minus 3x is negative 18x. We have a plus g. And in the denominator, we of course have 3 and an x minus g. Now, the only thing we have to decide is if we can reduce to lowest terms. And remember, reducing to lowest terms, you have to factor before you cancel. One mistake students of mine in the past have made on a problem like this is they go, oh look, here's a 3, here's a 6, here's an 18, it goes in there. No, it doesn't, and here's the reason not. First of all, the best way to write the numerator is not to start with a negative. The best way to write it is to write it as g minus 18x. Okay? It just looks better. The bottom is 3 times x minus g. Now here's what I want you to see. G minus 18x, there's absolutely nothing we can factor out of that other than for a 1. So I'm going to put parens around it, which indicate what those parens should indicate to you is that I attempted to factor it. Excuse me. I attempted to factor it, but the only thing that I was able to factor out was a 1. It also protects this numerator, meaning I can't take parts of it. I can either take all of it or take none of it. Okay, so the numerator's kind of saying, take all of me or take none of me. Well, we can't take any of it. So the honest truth is, the final answer, you could leave the parens in the top if you wanted to, but they're really not mandatory, although I certainly wouldn't mark you wrong if you did. The parens on the bottom here are mandatory because the 3 is multiplied by all of these. And at this point, we have our final answer, and it's in lowest terms. We factored, and there was nothing that canceled. It's perfectly fine with me if you leave parens in your final answer on the top, because that reminds you that this is an all or nothing, this is an all or nothing as well. Okay, we're done.